this would be the ideal off-roader for David Attenborough. David, talk to Audi, they got you covered, man. This thing's wicked. Here's a question for you. Have you ever wanted a car that can go anywhere, do anything, conquer any terrain, that's also fully electric? Nah, me neither, to be honest. But for those eco-conscious types out there that do want exactly that, Audi might have just the thing. And here it is.
This is the Audi Q8 E-Tron Edition Dakar. It's based on the standard Q8 E-Tron road car, but inspired by the RSQ E-Tron concept that competed in the Dakar Rally. This one won't be used for competition, but it will be offered to customers who want go-anywhere off-roading performance in electric form, and will come to market in 2024, costing €120,000.
Sounds like quite a lot, doesn't it? So what exactly do you get for your money? Well, let's go through the list, shall we? You get a slightly raised suspension, you get some all-terrain tyres, you get a roof rack with a bag and a wheel on top, and that's about it. Right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'm going for a swim.
Okay, fine. Sometimes less is more, and the devil is always in the detail. The suspension is raised, giving 65mm more ground clearance, as well as improved approach and departure angles of 21 and 28 degrees respectively. The General Grabber AT3 all-terrain tyres are designed to provide incredible traction even in demanding environments, while still remaining comfortable on the road. The front grille is body-coloured rather than contrasted as they are on the standard car. The wheel arches are around 5mm wider for a more aggressive look. There are durable rubber mats inside as well as in the boot, off-roading graphics on the infotainment system. The stickers on this limited edition car, 99 will be created, are meticulously applied at great expense, hence why it will cost you £10,000 more. It includes a roof rack with a bag and spare wheel, although 40 kilograms of extra stuff can be added to complete the look to your personal taste.
And speaking of personal tastes, I actually really like the way this car looks, but it is begging for a few more upgrades, particularly on the roof rack. It's crying out for some LED lights to dazzle other road users. It would have really been cool if it had some bits like a traction board or an axe, half a camel maybe, just bits to help it stand out. But honestly, the things that really matter in an off-roader are suspension and tyres, and this thing has some pretty good stuff I hear. So what better way to test those components by off-roading here in the middle of Oman. What's great about this place, other than it being absolutely stunning, is the variety of terrain on offer. So you've got mountains, you've got beaches, you've got big old rocks, jumps, a lot of things that on the surface you'd think would break an ordinary Q8 E-Tron. But so far, this thing's coping. We've got a few interesting drive modes on the Audi Drive Select system. We've got Auto, Comfort, All Road, which is for light off-roading, and then we've got a full-on off-road mode, which is what I'm in right now, and that is pretty damn necessary looking at this terrain. Normally when you go off-roading, you've got a big old thirsty diesel, or in some cases a V8, that is making a right racket as you pound along some very rough terrain. But because this is all electric, the powertrain doesn't really make any noise. Sure, you can hear the rocks flicking up underneath the car, you can hear the suspension occasionally. This is one of the most subdued and, dare I say, refined off-roading, whoa, a bit sideways there, sessions that I've ever had. Right, we've got ourselves a bit of a water hazard. Never know how fast to go through water. Fast, slow, if in doubt, somewhere in the middle. That was all right. Fair play. This is a bad idea. Nah, it's a great idea. This is the most fun I've had in an electric car in a long time. You know, people often try to sell us this idea that electric cars aren't as fun as petrol cars, particularly in terms of like performance on the road or on a racetrack. And I can understand that to a certain extent because they don't make the same noise and give you that same emotional connection. But out here, when you're off-roading, I don't think the lack of an internal combustion engine really makes that big a difference. In fact, I might go as far as saying that not having an ICE motor, oh look, there's a camel, is actually contributing to my enjoyment off-road, because you don't get the noise, you don't need the noise, but you get the torque and the responsiveness, and you don't disturb the nature around you. That's another big point. These guys, if I had an engine, they'd be running off. But here they are, just relaxing, watching the E-Tron. All right, buddy. That's mad.
One of Audi's big intentions with the Edition Dakar was to create a car that connects with buyers on an emotional level, adding life to an E-Tron range that might be seen as functional rather than fun. With this, they're moving in the right direction, and although most of its buyers won't be off-roading in Oman, the Edition Dakar might make sense to those who enjoy green laning, own farmland, or simply those who want to stand out. But that's not to say it isn't very capable when the going gets really tough.
Well, this is fun. We now find ourselves in a little bit of a gorge going downhill. I'm gonna try the hill descent control. I expected it to work off the electric motors to slow the car down, but it's actually using the ABS like a normal off-roader to actually slow the car down to allow you to descend really smoothly. This is annoying though. This car comes as standard with proper mirrors, but this particular one has got the annoying cameras on the side, so I can't quite see properly what's going on. I've got a massive rock down there on my left-hand side, and I can't really see it because of these bloody cameras. But all right, we're gonna do our best. The E-Tron's not fussed though, is it? At all, it's just doing its thing. And the other thing that's impressive are these tires once again, because you look around and you're surrounded by all these sharp rocks. I've got so much angle here. And the tires are just holding up really well. There's also an inclinometer on the screen, which shows you what angle you're at, left and right, up and down. Don't need that though, do you? I can actually feel that I'm properly leaning over in places. But this is really cool. You would not bring a normal car down here, and yet I've got no problem whatsoever. Annoying though that I don't have proper mirrors. If you're gonna get one of these cars, get it with the proper mirrors, especially if you're gonna go off-roading, because these cameras are next to useless.
As for the subject of range, the Q8 E-Tron Edition Dakar uses the same battery as the standard car, but because of its higher ride height, which admittedly reduces by up to 17mm at motorway speed, inferior aerodynamics and all-terrain tyres, range drops by around 50 miles from around 330 miles to 279. The tyres alone are responsible for a 50km drop, although standard summer tyres are also available, but that's not exactly in the spirit of the car, is it? Especially given how much fun you can have throwing it around with the all-terrain rubber.
Oh, it's pretty quick and it goes sideways. That is a very pleasant surprise. It's quite playful, isn't it? Do you know what? The standard E-Tron is not the most fun car in the world, but out here, that's brilliant. With the loose surface and the traction control slackened off, this is actually a hoot. Do you know what? I want to measure the speed. Let me pull in real quick and we'll do a 0 to 60 test. Foot on brake, foot on accelerator, send it. Bit of wheel spin, but we're moving and quite quickly as well. That's 100 kph. It is quite nippy, I'll give it that.
Audi's 0 to 62 mph time on tarmac is 5.9 seconds with boost mode and 6.8 without. Even on dirt, I still managed a very impressive 0 to 62 in 6.8.
You're not supposed to have this much fun in an electric family wagon. Look at that four-wheel drift out the corner, get in. This goes to show you don't need a ton of power to have a good time out here on a loose surface, but the torque is coming in very handy. I've got 664 Newton meters, and that is enough to get me rolling. Not literally, I hope. So as well as the off-road and all-road modes, this car has a dynamic mode, which obviously slackens off that traction control a little bit and delivers maximum application of torque. And that's where it gets a lot of fun to drive, especially out here where you can carry quite a decent amount of speed through these corners, straight or sideways.
I didn't hold back during my testing, and this car proved itself to be shockingly capable on this terrain. More importantly, it's also a lot of fun, which is the first time I've said that about any of Audi's electric SUV offerings. The very concept of off-roading in an electric car is also an intriguing one. The refinement is a welcome change, and the fact you can get up close and personal with nature in a slightly less obnoxious way is refreshing. It's still an incredibly niche offering and a new concept for Audi, but the Q8 E-Tron Edition Dakar is good old-fashioned fun.